Welcome to Tampa Bay. We fuck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, no parlay. Down in Tampa Bay, we fuck 'em up.
Buck 'em up. That's exactly what we did to them punk ass Saints. Bucked them up. Welcome to another episode, Buck fans, of Bucs Report, the aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. It's one of your hosts, AJ Turn Up. You are looking at the 2024 NFC South champions. That is playoff bound. Take a bow, Buck fans. Take a bow. You got through it. We proved the media, the naysayers, wrong yet again. They don't know football, and most importantly, they don't know the fucking Bucs. So let's get our other guest on. Coach Slick, come on up to the congregation and take a bow too, my brother. Go on in here, Slick. What's going on with you? That's right.
I'm just sipping.
Oh, yes. Oh, man, sipping them Falcons tears. Woo! Cry.
Oh,
woo! Deep fried.
Oh, I love it. Hey, the media said that they were going to do the job, and they
didn't
even get a winning record.
Exactly. Oh, wait a minute. They were supposed to get, according to Colin Coward, they were supposed to get 11, 12 wins, the same from Nick Wright. They only got 8. That's under 500. That's a losing record. You started out, and again,
they started out so strong and then just dropped the ball.
Falcon fans, you were 6-3.
Paid all that money for that quarterback.
You like that. You definitely like that. And again, for you Saints fans, you guys are just you're a bucket of piss just circling the drain. And I love it. Again, Panthers, you look like you got a bright future, but y'all still got a long ways to go too. Everything runs through Tampa Bay, like we said it. And if you don't believe us, Buck fans, I always have receipts, guys. Look, they call me up here, AJ the receipt man, because I got this shit. So if you can't see that, I said this 4 months ago. Remember this list. I don't want to hear any switch ups and fake support when the Bucs win the division and the Falcons miss the playoffs. Too much hype in a 1-4 postseason QB and Kirk off a major injury. Weaker receiving core. The Bucs have the best receiving core and defense. Bucs will win the NFC South for a 4th straight year. Now, you don't know ball, brother. The Saints division this year, this will be the easiest money I've won off FanDuel. Ooh, you broke his shit now. Nah, dog, you lost your money. You still have a dog shit coaching staff and QBs, and the Saints are the most overrated team in every year. Falcons easily win it. Guys, we kept trying to tell you
that
wasn't going to happen. We were trying to tell you it runs through Tampa Bay. Again, this is a team that's built on perseverance and resiliency. And good, we have a culture, a strong culture now. We have an identity.
But here's the thing, what they don't seem to understand is it should always run through Tampa Bay until it doesn't. We are the defending champions, and they should be able. The defending champions have you respect the defending champions until they lose the crown, right?
Right.
So it runs through Tampa Bay until it doesn't. You know, you're the Super Bowl champion until you're no longer the Super Bowl champion because you're either eliminated from the playoffs or you lost the Super Bowl. That's all it. That's all that matters. The Kansas City Chiefs are the reigning Super Bowl champions, and the Super Bowl runs through the Chiefs until it doesn't.
That's right.
And the Buccaneers were never, ever mathematically out of it. So as far as I'm concerned, every division winner, their division runs through them until it doesn't. That's always been my motto. It ran through the Saints until it didn't. The Buccaneers stopped that, and they say it now runs through us, Jack. And they've just had to deal with it ever since.
We've had to deal with it ever since. And that's all we were trying to explain to folks. Again, we don't care what the masses say. you got to understand when it comes to ESPN, NFL Network, First Take, Fox. Lord, look, they already got their own issues. But all jokes aside, you have to realize they talk for clicks and baits. Most of those guys don't give a shit about the Bucs. They don't watch the Bucs. When they do, it's highlights. So they don't really have the full concept that us everyday Buck fans have. They don't know the specific players that we can watch out for. So when they say all 22, don't let that scare you, because how the fuck you gonna watch an all 22 when you don't know what you're watching? So they say certain things. It's what Slick would say. It's the fluff, guys. They're gonna bring up certain teams because financially people glue their eyes to them more. NFC East, you got to think about it. New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Dallas, Texas. Those are marquee marketing cities. Tampa, unfortunately, is not on the level of those places yet. And they're much older franchises, so they're household names. That's what this is all about, guys, when it comes to the professional people. They'll say some little bullshit stats to also confuse you, but you got to go read that through context. Well, you know, the Bucs defense is just lousy because look at all the yards they give up. Well, yeah, they fucking play a lot of cushion coverage, but then in the second half, they don't talk about how we clamp down and that shit is done. You got to read between the lines. Don't listen to everything, because again, the Bucs were always the team to beat until, as Slick said, it's not. That's all we were trying to explain to a lot of people out there. So again, we don't give a shit what the media says. I want the media to go against the Bucs, because usually when the Bucs are the underdogs, that's when we go out there and whoop that ass and shut them up and be like, no, take your compliment and shove it up your ass. All we want is the trophies. We don't give a fuck about props. The only props we care for is our brothers in the locker room. There it is.
And the Buccaneers did in high-flying fashion, because not only did they win the division, they got Mike's money, Mike, and they got his accolade, which is a beautiful thing. And I think for me, that's the big thing I've been enjoying the most about the media, is the props that he's getting, and how classy this Tampa Bay Buccaneers operation is, that they wouldn't stop a guy from getting his money when they could have easily just kneeled out. They were like, no, let's give this guy a chance of history. It cost them $3 million to let him be that guy, but they wanted him to be that guy because they're his guy. And I want this to Bucs fans, football fans, how does that look if you are an outside guy, you're a free agent dude, you're a guy due to be drafted, where do you want to go? You got incentives in your contract. The Buccaneers have a reputation for making sure you get your money. The only person who lied about it was old Antonio Brown. And next game, what did they do? They force-fed the ball to Gronk. Got him his money. Got himself $1 million. Mike Evans got his $3 million. And everyone. And did you see the way the team reacted? Wow. It was so special. My wife jumped out of her thing. She don't really watch football. She knows all of the Buccaneers, and she knows the names of the players, and she can watch football, but she doesn't really get into it. She screamed when he got that cap. So that just shows how much it means to even people who aren't even that big into football. She just knows what it meant, like from a history standpoint. So that's what, for me, made that game extra special. I was like, oh, fuck. When he scored, when Bucky Irvin scored, I was like, fuck, I wish he would have slid, got the ball at the 5, and then just, we'll go get it there. And I was like, oh, we got to get him out. We got to get him out. Otherwise, we won't get a shot. Buccaneers defense goes, you know what? We're going to get Mike the ball. We're going to get Mike the ball. They go get the ball. They get the ball. They do the thing. They get the $3 million. Everyone's dancing. And that's how you celebrate, Falcons fans. That's when you've accomplished something. We won the division. We allowed to have that disco in the locker room for all to see, because we won the shit.
The job was finished. The job was finished, guys. It wasn't mid-season. And also, when it comes to the Mike Evans, the biggest thing that I am happy for, Slick, is that history and who he is tied to. That is going to help his legacy even further, because a lot of young people or new people who were not familiar with Evans, now that you hear his name attached to names like Jerry Rice, that's a household iconic individual. Now you are forced to go back and relook at the stats, because some of the young people now I see, Slick, it brings joy to my heart. They're like, wow, I didn't know this dude was doing all this back then. I didn't know that he had these many quarterbacks. You mean to tell me? And this is also a nice little knock at people like Tyreek Hill. We told you certain receivers are made by quarterbacks. Guys like Evans, they're the rare breed. They produce no matter what. Yeah. Evans was out basically 4 games, and yet he still came back and made shit happen. That is called dedication. That you can't teach that. That is skill that you just don't have in every day. And mind you, other players, his peers, respect Evans. Everybody, LeBron James shouted out Mike Evans, said, yo, Jerry Rice tweeted, thanks for being consistent. That goes a long way. So for any other people out there that say, I don't think he's still a first ballot, you're just stupid at this point. Everybody knows that shit. And look, next year when he breaks it, at that point, because he will break it, that man said, oh, I'm going to get it earlier. Guys, that was the icing on the cake. And that made me appreciate Bowles to understand. Thank you for doing that. And one, guys like Mike Evans deserve that shit, Slick. Guys like him deserve that. That man has put so much and stayed loyal to a team when he didn't have to. In this era of the young men that always want to go and get the bag, or I want to go to a championship team, he stuck it out, and he reminded people of what true passion of your craft is. He plays for the glory of the game. That's what's most important, because when you play for the glory, the bag will be there. But when you play for the bag, you're going to end up like Tyreek, looking like a fucking Soul Circus clown. And that's all I got to say on that.
Let's talk about the Tyreek situation just briefly, right?
Right.
You knew what you were getting into before you got to Miami.
Yep.
The problem is ego of some players is so high that they think they could go to any organization and just instantly turn it into a championship team. It takes more than one wide receiver. And he was glazing all over his quarterback. Oh, he throws an more accurate ball. Yeah, but you know what the biggest problem with Tua is? He gets injured on a very regular basis.
Yep.
And which means you're reliant on his backup to carry you through. God forbid he gets injured before the playoffs, and then you don't have you don't have your quarterback to play in the playoffs. How many how many backup quarterbacks go and win Super Bowls? Not many. It does happen, but it's not normal. It's not a thing that generally happens. So look, he knew what he was getting into. He was injury prone before he got there, so it's his own fault for following the bag. He could have stayed. He probably could have stayed, but he wanted all the money because there's this ego trip of I want to be the highest paid in my position. But do you know what being the highest paid yields? You are only the highest paid for that year. The moment someone else puts pen to paper, you are instantly no longer the highest paid, whatever you are. The highest paid quarterback is changed like 4 times in 1 year at one point in the same year. And that's because your contract sets the precedent of all the others. So you're a Tyreek Hill. You sign a contract for, let's say it's 50, it averages to about 30 mil a year, right? Mike Evans, a quarterback, a wide receiver, the same age, a similar age to him, who puts up similar numbers, like a Chase or someone like that. He can turn around. I want that Tyreek Hill money, but I want to be the highest paid too. So lo and behold, he gets 31 million, and it just sets a chain. That's all that happens. It means nothing. Oh, you're the highest paid wide receiver one time. What about the history? What about the legacy? This guy could have 3 Super Bowl rings with with similar numbers. Yep. And he could be with them right now, going for a repeat.
Yep, and also didn't get 1,000 yards, so that kind of takes him out of the case of consistency, like Evans. So that's done, and we can't say, oh, he didn't have a quarterback, because Evans didn't have one, and he still did it. Again, guys.
That's why I like DeAndre Hopkins, because DeAndre Hopkins is one of those guys who did the same kind of thing. He had a nobody dude for a while, you know. Yeah. You can say the same about Larry Fitz. His quarterback was never like one of the elite guys. Good quarterback, Carson Palmer. Who else did he have before that?
He had a different slew of quarterbacks. Shit, Matt Reiner.
Yeah, he had a few different guys. So that's why you look at those guys and go, okay, he was great. We were talking about in a private chat about the greatness of Julio Jones. And I went, but you took him away from Matt Ryan, he turned into a pumpkin. And I'm not being mean. He had a very big peak. Like his peak is bigger than Mike's. No one's going to dispute that. But his longevity, he's only played 2 years more than him, mind. It's
and the touchdown ratio is
wow.
close. That's why I always tell somebody, do you want a receiver that gets you yards or get you points? Points win the game, not yards. I don't give a shit if I had a receiver that only averaged 1,100 yards a season, but his touchdown ratio is 10 touchdowns minimum rather than a 1,700 yard wide receiver for maybe 2 years and have like maybe 8 and 10 touchdowns, but then he falls right off after that. Guys, we've seen that. We've seen that in Cooper Kupps of the world, Michael Thomas's, Odell Beckham's. It happens all the time. You cannot expect those guys to always put up those numbers. But the problem is you think that's going to happen, but it usually never pans out. That's why being a high volume receiver doesn't always pay off because your body is not going to hold up. It's like a running back. A lot of running backs have strong 3-4 years and then they go to shit because their body is beat up. There's a reason why longevity does matter. Evans takes care of himself. Evans is like, I don't always need to take the big hits. I'm going to catch this shit and go down and
how many times do you see him just go down? He just goes down and catches the ball. I've said to people before, the one thing I'm the biggest critic of Micah here, but I don't believe it's his game. I said, you've got to look at it. You're looking at wide receivers as in, you're looking at every single category, right? Can catch a deep ball, okay? Has got good hands, yep. Can run most of the route tree or run the route tree to an extremely high standard. Good yards after yak. And Mike Evans falls short in the yak yards and he falls short in the route. But what he does do, no one else can touch. I will say this, Mike Evans is the greatest red zone threat since Randy Moss.
100%. And again, his plays are, I say he's the Tim Duncan of wide receivers. He's not going to always electrify you. He's going to get the job done. People, you don't always got to be fucking entertained by seeing a play. That's why I used to say this to people to slick all the time about the difference between Marshawn and AP. AP can electrify you with his abilities, but when it was time to get in that end zone or don't fumble, he fucked up. Marshawn was a chess playing type of running back. Yeah, I'm not going to always break 140, but I'm going to run for 60 yards in the fourth quarter alone with 2 touchdowns that puts the game away and seal it. That's what we got to get out of for you young people out there, or people, again, the game ain't always going to be exciting. The best era of football usually was when it was a physical, bloodlust game like the Steelers and Ravens. Best believe in the early 2000s, nobody get the fucking score was 9-6, but you were entertained because that's real football. I don't always like seeing 40 points to 38 games because then that shows me, okay, this is flag football. I don't want to see that shit. I want to see real physical and finesse put into one. But if I see that, oh, I'm just watching a fucking flag football because
that takes defense out of the game, and obviously that's what they've tried to do more and more, and it just makes it harder for defenses to make plays and what have you. So, look, I totally get it. I know they want to go down that because that's what makes people throw their popcorn around. That's what everyone glazes over, right? It's the touchdowns, it's the celebrations, it's the big that change of possession. You can be down by 2 scores, and then you get an interception, you score a touchdown. Then you fight back and you score another touchdown to end the game, and it's game over kind of thing. But touching on what you said about having a guy who scores touchdowns, I'm the same mindset. I'm going to give you 2 guys, and you tell me you could have a guy in a game. He was going to net you 250 yards, no touchdowns, loses the game 9-14. Got him in position to score touchdowns. Got him in position to score, but they just couldn't get the job done. I'll give you another guy who scores 2 touchdowns, but only got 100 yards.
I'll take
that. Insane game.
Yep, I'll take that 2 touchdowns because it's the 2 touchdowns that are going to win the game, not the fucking yards. Again, do you want to be excited or do you want to win? That's the key of good teams. They find ways to win. That's another reason why this game coming up with the Commanders, oh, they look more exciting to a certain extent, but then I go, are they really, or is it that the media is telling you that they're more exciting? That's all we're saying. This Bucs offense is not boring. This Bucs offense is fucking electrifying. The problem is the media is only going to give you the Jaden Daniels story. And put it this way, Slick, the Commanders this year are what Detroit was last year, a team that's on the rise, that has become a media darling because they have overachieved. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about a story. I care about football 101. And football 101, I'm saying it here for people out there. I take off my fan cap because I got this hat right here, Slick. This is a fan cap. When this shit goes off, that's when I talk football. The fan cap. My girl got this for me, made this for me. So fan cap, because I have to remind people I am a fan of football first, then my team. So when motherfuckers say, okay, AJ, be real, I go, okay, fan cap's coming off. Hey, somebody yesterday asked me, so AJ, fan cap, so what do you think about the Bucs and the Commanders? I said, overall, the Bucs are better on both sides. They have the players that you don't have. Give me someone on your defense that's Vita Vea or Winfield. Don't give me Bobby Wagner. He's well past his prime. This isn't Legion of Boom, Bobby Wagner. Yeah, you got a point. Exactly. Shut the fuck up. You only know about your team because, again, CBS and Fox, they've fallen over Jaden Daniels. Now they're finally giving.
Let's be honest. Right before we bring in another gentleman into the mix, rightfully so though, because he is a great rookie. He is rookie of the year, undisputed, and I think he's going to be great. This is his first playoff game.
Yep.
So the lights are going to be on. He's got to travel to us. If we get a clean bill of health and get some of these guys back that we've been missing, I don't think it's going to be a rout. I think it'll be a dogfight. It'll be tough. I think we'll edge out the win. And I think they'll put up a really good fight, like they did the last time we played them, right? But they'll be better than that. They'll be generally better than that. But I think we are as a team as well. When we played them in the playoffs last. I'm not going to take any shine with it. They have overachieved, and well done them, and their fans should be absolutely like loving life right now because they should, right? But that doesn't take away from the fact that they've still got to get through the obstacle. We beat them once. We know how to beat them. Jaden Daniels, he's got to be all the amount of touchdowns he scored and his running backs have scored. I look and go, did your defense help you a lot?
Yeah.
And that's the matchup. Can the Buccaneers unlock their defense? And if they can unlock their defense, I don't see there being a problem. So I think the Buccaneers have enough in them, providing they don't do that cushion bullshit. Yes. We've got enough in us to be a dominant team. But let's go and bring old Louis in because I think he's been patiently waiting behind the glass, ready to go.
Louis. Life with Louis in the Northeast. What's up?
Yeah, you see this? It's fucking cold. All right? It's cold. It's like 17, feels like 9. It's cold.
I bet, man. Look,
you do that Fahrenheit thing and I can't do the conversion in my head. It's about -1 degree Celsius in the UK right now.
Oh.
Well, so, hold on. -1.
The conversion.
I should know this.
My head is
right now.
My head is just about bucks and shit. I can't even give you degrees. I tell you what, we're gonna whoop that Commander's ass to the 3rd degree. They're gonna have the 3rd degree burn.
Hold on, wait a minute. You gotta wait a minute. Look, we gotta be humble as Buck fans because we learned a lot of valuable lessons throughout the year, man. Especially with the Cowboys, especially with a lot of losses that we had this year. Now, a good personal friend of mine, Dino, who did the show with me last night on Around the NFL. He's a big Commanders fan. And look, how ironic that the season started against the Commanders and how ironic one of these teams it's going to end. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take them lightly. I think we're the 3rd best offense in the league. And I think they're like 4th. They're not too far. Yeah, all right. They're not too far behind. So we're not going to see the same Commanders team that we seen week 1. I think, and I was saying this to Commander fans, especially Dino. I was like, listen, the best thing that could have happened to Jaden Daniels was playing the Buccaneers and Todd Bowles' defense week 1, because he got hit a lot. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka hit him. Diaby hit him. Like, he got hit a lot, and that's a good, valuable lesson for a rookie quarterback. And look what he's done, without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't want Buck fans out there thinking, oh, Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast is saying that they're going to lose. I'm not saying that. I'm just humble in victory and defeat, and I wouldn't take them lightly because I think they're a little salty.
They're a playoff
I
team.
think,
We're not going to whoop
yeah,
that ass. We're going to have to fight for this one.
yeah,
for sure.
this one's going to be a dogfight. No Michael Vick intended. But this is going to be a dogfight just because, we've played this team before, and they still have, I think they feel salty still about that run that we had with Tom Brady when Chase Young was there. I mean, they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs that game, but I mean, they put up a fight against us, and we have a little bit of a history with the Redskins / Commanders in the playoffs. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be an interesting game. Also, I want to say shout out to Mike Evans for getting the 1,000 yards. What they did there this proves that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are probably one of the most classiest, and they actually give a shit about their players. One of the best organizations to play for, because you want to get paid. Come to Tampa, they'll pay you. Not only that, I was laughing at Christopher Cole in the comments. He goes, just ask Cooper Rush about incentives. I said, yeah, Jerry Jones ain't paying you that $500K. It's funny because Jerry Jones was like, oh, I wasn't aware. You were aware, man. You know everybody's dick size on that fucking team, and you mean to tell me you weren't aware of fucking $500K? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, it was, if you look at this, what he needed to do to get this thing, I think it was like 80 snaps, which he'd only got 80 snaps once in the season. But you got to let a guy try, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to let a guy try. And why did you make it like Cooper Rush was playing well? He beat us. I'm not saying he deserved to beat us, but he beat us. They had a bit of a run.
I want to show you guys.
I don't know why you would change a guy without it. It just looks so suspicious.
I want to show you guys something. So I was kind of cleaning out my desk area here, and because we're getting ready to finish up this remodel down here, so I can have a real background. Not saying that I don't like this, because I like it. So look what I stumbled upon.
Hey, that's vintage
rookie. I have 2 of them. 2 rookie Derek Brooks cards.
Love it.
Found that one.
Keep them shit,
and then
man.
the great Warren Sapp. I mean, people have mixed emotions about Sapp, but found that one too.
Still great.
Rookie
Still great.
cards.
Oh man, look, if you have mixed emotions about Sapp, you got to get your panties out of a bunch. You don't know that man personally. I care about what he did on the field as a Buck. That's the greatest fucking defensive tackle. Put some respect on it. I
was lucky when I met him, because we were walking to Wembley Stadium in the UK, and he came up to us. My friend was wearing a Sapp jersey. And he said, I like your jersey. And we just clocked as soon as he kind of came up to us, because he had his hood up and he had it all kind of like, you could only see this much of the face, and he had his head down. So I love your jersey. Can I have a picture with you? As soon as the accent hit, as soon as we looked at him, I was like, holy shit. And he chatted to us for a couple of minutes and then moved on about his business. I've heard a lot of other people say a lot more negative shit. I guess it pays to wear a Warren Sapp jersey and just
man.
Warren is the kind of guy where you just got to catch him on the right day, and every day is not going to be that. Everybody is human. Some days, for you, Louis, you wouldn't want nobody up in your space all the time. You wouldn't want somebody in your space.
That's pretty much almost every day. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I'm 37, man. I'm just kind of like, I imagine what these guys go through. Like, when we were in Tampa, my girl was like, hey, what would you do if you seen Mike Evans? I said, nothing. I just say, what's up, champ? That's it. I wouldn't say nothing, just because I don't want to bother people. I mean, if I was with my kid, then I'd probably say, hey, man, my kid loves you. You want to take a picture with him, please? Not me, for him.
You're saying you've also, you just got to look at it from a perspective as like, do you have time? And if they say no, don't take it as thing.
Yeah. I've heard some crazy stories, man. Crazy stories about how people try to interact with these players. And even I was watching something. It's kind of, everybody, we all go down the rabbit hole of like when the algorithm gets good on the phone, you start really scrolling through videos. there was, I guess, a wrestler guy, Brock Lesnar. He was going to the bathroom, and some kid went in there and wanted to take a picture of him. He's like, "I'm holding my fucking penis. I'm pissing." Like, because some wrestlers were like laughing about it. But it's just like, imagine that, man. You just go to the bathroom just to take a piss, and you got somebody over your shoulder wanting to take a picture with you. What the fuck, man?
It's the whole like waiting in airports and things like that.
Oh God, yeah.
Because you
know.
aren't a fan. You're going to collect autographs that you can sell. That's a very big difference, right? If you're after a game and you're coming out, and sometimes if you've lost, you're probably not going to be in the mood. But a lot of players in general will give their fans a bit of love and then kind of go about. When I met Calais Campbell, he was like, "I'm only signing free things. And it's you. The rest, I'm sorry."
I like that. Right down to you, and that's it. I like that. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, just again, these people are still human beings. They have their own lives, and the most important thing is time. These people got to go home.
The UK thing is like a trip, right? So a lot of their families kind of look forward to going to the UK just because they've never been. Yeah,
yep.
So they have quite often or not, you'll find like a lot of people. So I think I was sat chatting to Melvin Ingram's mum at one point because she was just wandering around, and I was all the players bits over there. She, "Oh, thank you, no worries. Do I want to get my son's autograph?" I was like, "Nah, don't worry about it. It's all good." Nothing against the guy or anything. That would have been cool at the time. I was like, "No, you go be with your son and what have you." But a lot of them come with like their kids, nieces, nephews, moms, dads, uncles, because it's one big trip, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially, those international games, like half of the family goes, because it's an international game, and it's a huge spectacle. I like I said, if I seen any of those guys, like if it's just me, I'd just be like, "Hey, what's up, champ?" That's it. Like I don't, just a human being, man. Just a human being. Hey, good year this year, whatever. Real quickly, so you guys were talking about, I think it was before air. AJ, you don't like Allen's stats?
I like Josh Allen.
I don't think he's MVP.
I don't think he's MVP.
I agree with you with Lamar. I think Lamar is definitely MVP.
I think Lamar is. I just think the fact that the media don't want to give Lamar.
I think they're just trying to make sure that it's not a unanimous race because it's like, he's done. They need to percolate, I guess. Like you said, that clickbaity, that fucking fluff it up a little bit to make it sound like there's actually a competition when we all know that it's clear cut. It's just one person, right?
Yeah, it's Lamar. Yeah. It's Lamar Jackson, and I'm not. And it's not that I think Josh Allen has played well, but
he's got 12 rushing touchdowns, bro.
What's up?
I didn't know that he has 12 rushing touchdowns.
Yes,
this season.
That's insane, dude. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
and 3 of them was against the Lions, I want to say, or 2 of them was against the Lions in that win. 3 of them was against the Rams. Allen's fucking. I didn't realize that.
I'll tell you why he's in the MVP race, because he finally got that fucking Mahomes monkey off his fucking back.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
Baker. It's crazy because Baker's not really getting any love, and I think it's just a win-loss thing. It's very similar to, because honestly, if the Buccaneers had more wins, just like the Bengals, I think we'd be talking about Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield kind of going at it for the MVP, in my opinion, and Lamar Jackson. Those 3 guys. Allen's gonna be in there just because it's the Bills, and like you just said, he got the monkey off his back. He fucking beat Mahomes.
He beat Mahomes, but at the end of the day, I think it's also just a lot of narration and popularity of who they want to choose, because Baker Mayfield is balling. 41 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, and don't give me the turnover machine shit, because Brady threw for 43 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in 2021, and that was an MVP season. We all believed he should have been better.
He got robbed.
Yeah, he got robbed, but it's something about that ratio.
Didn't they at the end?
Yeah, they gave it to Aaron Rodgers' bitch ass, and he didn't deserve it. And I just look.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, go ahead, AJ. I got to bring up what happened. Did you guys see that play? That what was it that he threw? Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Smith. What the fuck was? I mean Devontae Adams. Sorry, I got so many names on the brain. That fucking he was scrambling, and then he threw it to Devontae. Devontae threw it back to him, and then he threw it back to Devontae, and he got popped. You guys didn't see that?
Makes me happy. Makes me happy.
Oh my God! When you guys get a chance,
We'll have to
look
look
that
for it.
No,
up.
I've
I'll
seen it.
send
It's,
it to you
it's
guys.
all over Twitter. It makes me
Oh
happy.
my
He needs to
God!
get hit in the fucking mouth. I'm not a big look. I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the most overinflated quarterbacks of all time, and it is
Yeah.
just because of who he played for, and
Packers.
they're like, and I
I
want to
mean,
get back.
you've got to admit he's probably one of the best passers of the football.
Oh yes, he is.
I don't know what to make of him. It's
He's
just
a
because
But he
he's
does tend to fall apart.
yeah.
Like put the game on the line in a fucking non-playoff game. The guy can some of those. I mean, the poor Lions. The amount of those they've coughed up. In game ending, he just fucking lofts it as fucking hard as he can. They've already gone into prevent coverage, and they still come down with a fucking touchdown. Shit like that should not happen.
I'm going
I
to tell
think
you
he's
what, guys.
more of a regular season darling.
Yes, he's a. I was about to say that, and I'm going
You're
to say
welcome.
this. We all watched the NBA in the '90s and early 2000s. Do you
Oh, yeah.
guys remember Chris Webber?
Oh yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is the Chris Webber of quarterbacks.
Oh man. I'm never gonna get that. I'm never gonna get that out of my head now. That's probably
He's
gonna
the
stick
Chris
with me.
Webber. Because look,
He's the Chris
Slick,
Webber.
this is one thing about Chris Webber that we all knew. 3 quarters, that motherfucker was balling. He was unstoppable. That fourth quarter came,
Quiet.
He was washed. And that's Aaron Rodgers in a nutshell. Like you said, Louis, regular season, he's on God mode. Then when the lights come on, when it's time to be that man,
he's just not there.
Look, he's a where's Carmen Sandiego head ass quarterback. It's like, God
Where
damn.
in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I remember that. Yeah.
And look, and they try to give him excuses. Well, AJ, he didn't have a good defense. No. Y'all said he was Aaron fucking Rodgers. And it proved our point that when I said this, Slick, that he needed a complete team to win, it was blasphemous. I'm like, you do realize when he won, he had Clay Matthews in his prime, AJ Hawk in his prime, Charles Woodson, BJ Raji, fucking Barnett. He had a squad. He's just not that, he can't do it on his own. He's not Brady. He's not.
But there's nothing wrong with what I don't know what is this ego trip of like, oh, you don't need. Everyone needs fucking some players, right? Even Tom had Gronk.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Super Bowls that he did win, they were Gronkful Super Bowls, and Julian Edelman is the ultimate fucking playoff fucking wide receiver of all time.
That dude.
He can't do anything else. But when it comes to the
Atlanta Falcons, he killed the Falcons with that catch. You guys ever see that? He's like, I caught that ball. He's like, I caught that ball. Like, look, and we seeing that in slow motion, I was like, holy fuck, he caught that ball, and that broke the fucking Falcons' back. That actually. The reason why the Falcons are the way they are today is because of Julian Edelman and that catch.
Look,
and what about the catches that he made? The 2 big catches that he made versus the Rams in the Super Bowl that was 9-3 or something like that.
He was
the worst abomination. That's the Abomination Bowl. But go ahead.
Since we're on that Patriot topic here, I don't know if you guys seen, but did you see who they were interviewing for head coach?
Yeah, Byron Leftwich. I think
that would be catastrophic.
I would not do that. It would give somebody an opportunity that hasn't coached in 2 years.
No, hire him.
I could understand if he had like a really good season as an OC or
I need this. Louis, I will pay. I will give them my full check if Byron
I can't hate on them anymore because you want to know what it is. It's not the organization; it's a lot of the fans. But I think like I work obviously living in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And being on a construction site. And a lot of these guys, 99.9% of them, well, I shouldn't say 99% of them. There's 90% of them that are Patriot fans. And the real ones are just kind of like, hey, I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. I'm like, well, try being a Bucs fan. For like it's just your time. It's all it is. I really respect and like Drake May. Like watching him in college, I liked him. I thought he was the better quarterback out of the two between Daniels and Williams as far as longevity and more accolades, if you will. You bring in Byron Leftwich, you're gonna destroy that kid's career. You're gonna destroy that kid's career fast.
Yeah,
and honestly, I don't know what the deal is with the Jaguars and Liam Cohen. I don't want Liam Cohen to go there. I want Liam Cohen to stay with the Bucs.
I rebuke that in the name of the Lord. He ain't going to no Jacksonville.
But I think the best thing they can do is say, look, we can't obviously make you head coach. I know that's something you want in your future. So how about we make you assistant head coach and we make you the highest paid offensive coordinator in all of football? And they'll go,
They did that
And
with
then-
Todd Bowles. They did that with Bowles when
Exactly.
Bruce Arians was here because Bowles was getting a lot of interest and they didn't want him to go. I don't think they made him assistant head coach. I think they paid him a shit ton of money.
No, they
I
paid
think
him. They
that's what
paid
it
him.
was. But
Yeah.
with Liam, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna leave. I think he's
He's
really
already
waiting.
said. I think he said the phrasing that I've seen banded around is that he ain't just going to go for the head coaching role. He's looking for the right
Yeah,
head coach role.
I
So I'm
think
hoping that means he's going to be picky. He won't want to take his time. Jacksonville Jaguars is a shitstorm. Don't even fucking bother. That's a hard one to turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, I commend Dave Canales for what he's done. 100%. That guy,
he took
he may be the
32?
quarterback whisperer. He may
He
be a quarterback whisperer because that's
he took
3
32.
quarterbacks that he's, I wouldn't say turned around, but has done really good things with, right?
Did a great job with Gino.
Did a great job with Gino.
Yeah.
Baker had a great year with him.
Yep.
And now he's got his guy now in Young. So you're looking at it going, okay, this guy knows how to coach football. Maybe he just was a little bit. It was a whole new thing, and he's learned a lot of shit because I imagine that guy just could have spent the entire offseason just fucking learning and cramming as much as he can into his little head, ready to fucking go. And it's kind of paid off for him, and I'm pleased for him. But going off that a little bit, they need to he needs to be picked. Liam Cohen needs to be picky. Like, wait for a team that is in a good spot that you can go to and go, we're looking for a head coach. Because one will retire. Kansas City might be the one that you go to.
Oh God,
I wouldn't want to see that.
Oh.
Honestly,
No, I'm
just on
just
the
saying.
Liam Cohen thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I
My
think
point being is someone's going to retire. Mike Tomlin might retire at some point. There are coaches in the league that
but do you
are
think he
old.
wants to wait though that long? Because I don't think Tomlin. I don't know. Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid's gonna be coaching on that sideline until he dies.
Andy Reid will retire if they win the Super Bowl.
I
You think
agree
so?
100% on that.
I don't know.
Travis Kelce, and then we'll see the real Patrick Mahomes when he's left with nothing.
I think my opinion for Liam Cohen, not just because it's Massachusetts, because he's from Warwick, Rhode Island, and Warwick, Rhode Island. Yeah, like they legit, like when I do work out there in Warwick, we see the Patriots plane all the time, taking off from the airport. I think honestly, with the amount of cap space that the Patriots have, it's fucking ridiculous. Did you guys see the amount? It's like 130 million. That's fucking insane.
They're not paying anybody because they're not really known for it. So I imagine once their book checks cleared of all any talent that they
I
had.
think the biggest problem right now is how are you going to lure free agents in? Kind of like with the Buccaneers, we had that issue. You guys remember a long time ago? Nobody wanted to come to
during the
Tampa.
James Winston era.
Man, nobody wanted to come here. And then all of a sudden, boom, Brady comes, and it was like a fucking explosion. Everybody wanted to come here. That's why I'm saying I think the best fit for him would be the Patriots because he has Drake May. He already has a decent running back over there, and it's his. He can build it. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how he feels. I don't know how he feels about
going into a team that you've got to do everything for. Just seems a little tactic. Look, we'll see what happens because we don't know how long
leniency though. He's got more leniency though. I think on paper, if you can put up some decent, I think in my opinion, and this is nothing against Gerard Mayo. I think he got the shit end of the stick. I don't think he should have been the head coach of that team. I think he was kind of forced into something, kind of like what Robert Kraft was saying. I think a guy like Liam Cohen could turn. I think he could do more with that team, what they had there this year, than what Gerard Mayo did. I mean, it wouldn't be pretty, but I think honestly, like, look at this Buccaneers offense. How fucking incredible was it this year? Outside of Godwin going down, like we haven't seen 50 burgers like this. We had what, one, and then we came close to a couple of more. And how beautiful was it to see 50? What was it, 52 on the Saints or 51 on the Saints? That was 51. Amazing. 51. You know what I'm saying? Look at our running game. I don't even think Canales, and this is not a knock at Canales because I get why he did what he did. You know, $32 million. You give me $32 million. Shit, I'll go coach a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get why he did what he did because that's generational wealth for your family. Your grandkids are all set. So I get what he's saying, and he's doing a fantastic job. Yeah, man. What the fuck? But you know, I wouldn't want to. I don't think Liam Cohen's going anywhere this year. I think he's
No.
going to stick with the Buccaneers unless, and I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, unless the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl. How do you not take a coaching job? Because now instead of you making $10 million a year, you're going, hey, I was one of the best offensive coordinators this year. I think Ben Johnson has a little bit of an edge on him just because there's a bigger body of work.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But that's good for us because hopefully he doesn't go anywhere. I want to see him. I want to see him here another year with a healthy Chris Godwin because Godwin was on pace to have a monster fucking year.
He was. I think the thing that you would like going off, like let's say they won let's go down the road. They did win a Super Bowl. By then, all the jobs are pretty much taken and sorted. So it would be the next year roundtable that he would get an opportunity. So I'm absolutely fine with that because cool.
Let me ask you guys a question.
What's
Go
up?
ahead, DJ.
I was gonna say I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am gonna say it. It's also gonna depend on how each coach performs. As much shit as I give Bowles, this is usually where Bowles shines when it comes to the playoffs because Bowles comes out of nowhere and creates certain shit that we have never seen. So let's say I am knocking on wood and I'm praying on this. We get to the Super Bowl and through each game, the defense does their job where they go back to, okay, Slick, you know what I'm going to say? Let's say if this defense goes back to just being average and continuing that average throughout the playoffs and we get to the Super Bowl and they not only play average, but they play to above average, that will play a factor where owners will say, well, shit, Bowles did his job. So now, in a way, it was a combination of both. And I think Cohen would want another year to completely certify him. Let's say he comes back and the Bucs offense picks up where it left off. Now that makes him a bigger commodity because they're going to take their lessons from Canales. Don't get it twisted, but I guarantee you a lot of other owners are saying, okay, Canales, you did good with the Bucs, but we see what you do when there is no talent. You actually, in a way, Canales was benefiting from the talent of his roster in Tampa because the running attack was dead last. And it was atrocious still. And in a way, Canales, his offensive play calling last year against Detroit didn't help us at all because all he kept doing was running up the gut, and that shit didn't work. So that's what I'm saying.
He was meticulous for trying to get the rush off the ground. Yes, I know you're going to try, but eventually you've got to get to a point going, this shit ain't working and we're just wasting downs.
And I think Cohen is going to take his time to be wise.
Fair to say, too, we didn't have Ryan Jensen. That was a huge blow, the center not being there.
The line's a little bit better as well, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I want another year of Cohen just because of the simple fact that if he comes back for another year and Godwin's healthy and McMillan is really starting to come on, he's the guy that I think is going. He was the guy that I thought Trey Palmer was going to be.
Yeah,
but
I'll go one better on that. He was the guy that I thought Russell Gage was supposed to be.
Boom.
Don't even talk about Russell Gage. That was a waste of. I don't even know.
The potential that he could have had on this team if he did get it going. That's what I was. The way he's played this year was what I was expecting Russell Gage to do.
Same here. And guys, look at it this way. Put it this way: if Cohen comes back, I'm calling this right now, and Louis, you'll be even happier with this. The Bucs offense alone wins the Bucs 11 games. I said what I said. I think
more than that. I think you get the one seed.
I said the minimum is 11. That's just.
I think Baker has an MVP year. I think he probably hits almost 5,000 yards just because.
I think maybe that might be in the back of somebody like Liam Cohen.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
that would make his
you think about that and you're like, okay, I've done good this year. Imagine what these guys, because let's face it, the Buccaneers are going to go heavy into their defense in a draft. They might pick up one or two players here and there, but they're going to be more depth players. I imagine the first 3 picks will all be defense unless someone drops that they were like, we really like this guy, let's go get him.
Agreed.
And just because there are things on the defense that do need fixing, we've done a good job of covering them. Like when they showed the final grades of the Buccaneers, it was like ass shit. Everything else was like mid, just like you said, AJ, just be average, right? Everyone was like 15, 16, 15, 14, 15, 16. All of it. Pass, even the sacks generated, which was insane when you think about it, because it didn't feel like we were doing anything, but they were still mid-tier.
Yep,
I'm
we
gonna
were
give you
seven.
guys a name that I think that the Buccaneers should look at in the draft if they don't trade for a pass rusher. Because I've been doing some research. Me and the dude been talking about some shows. So I've been doing my research. There's a kid out of Alabama, Jihad. I like that kid. I think he's a good fit for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
I'd have to go
I'm
back
telling
and
you.
check them out, but
Dude,
I,
I'm telling you. I'll send you his stats
thanks.
from when he
Yes.
played in college. He's from Alabama. The dude is a beast. Jihad Campbell. Look him up.
Well, I like that you're going into that, because now we're gonna go back into Bucks and Commanders, because I got some shit that I gotta talk to y'all about, because I do like being in the DMV area. Unfortunately, this is Louis. I'm gonna say this before I show this. If I'm the Bucks right now, overall are the better team, and I'm not saying the Bucks are gonna blow them out. However, if they play the way that they're supposed to, it won't be a close game. I'm not saying they're going to win by 20 plus, but I will say this with confidence, and I stand on business. They will win by 10 plus. Here's what I'm talking about, and I'm about to break shit down. So I had to talk to this silly ass person. He was talking about this. Well, Lattimore locking Evans up per usual. First game means nothing. Had a completely new roster. Coaching and rookie QB. Bucks won't stop Jaden Daniels rushing and have a weak secondary. Not to mention just getting John Allen, Austin Eckler, and should have Lattimore back. Bucks gonna have to run the ball and have 40 minutes of possession if they want to have a chance. Mikey also gonna lock up McMillan. Okay, moron of the day. Now, this is what I had to say. Yeah, a lot you know. Haha. First off, Lattimore has safety out most of his career against Evans, which are facts. And another thing, which y'all got against McMillan, K. Dotton, Payne Durham. Oh, yeah, the Bucks have three backs that can run, which keeps JD on the sideline. Oh, yeah. If JD runs too much, he won't make it past the first half. Now, here's this guy again. You dead ass just named a bunch of mediocre receivers. I mean, they all good, but Mike opens up the field for them to succeed. Mike Sandstrom is going to be on McMillan. He's going to clamp his ass up like he even did to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. We got Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, and Jeremy Chin to stop Otten and that other random you named. Y'all sound delusional up here, and it's funny. Now, when people talk shit like that, Louis and Slick, I have to hit these motherfuckers with facts. Oh, it gets worse. You failed misery, beloved. McMillan has 7 TDs in 5 straight games. K. Dotton has 600 yards and 4 TDs as a tight end who missed games. Bucky Irvin, enough said. And our other tight end, Durham, is cooking. Your run defense is atrocious, ranks 29th. Wagner is washed and nothing more than a stat padding linebacker. Louvu is hit or miss. And y'all are 1-3 against teams with records above 500. Lost to the Eagles, Ravens, Steelers, Bucks, all playoff teams. And you beat an Eagles team when Hurts went out. So, yeah, don't let the media overhype your expectations. And unfortunately, fellas, that's my point here. I got nothing but respect.
I was dying the fuck laughing reading that. How's that? Is that for a DMV term? All right. I was dying the fuck laughing.
The reason why I say that, fellas, is because I am very happy for what the Commanders done. They've done a hell of a job. They turned that
franchise
Feels
around.
like the Detroit Lions. They're drinking on that Kool-Aid.
I don't give a fuck that Jaden is more electrifying in your eyes when he really isn't, Louis. We just talked about Baker Mayfield's stats. Do you know, Louis, down here in the DMV?
Oh, it's a disgrace that he's not a Pro Bowl over him. Pure media hype, because he beats him in every single category except for rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. That's it. He's been schooled just for like 9 touchdowns less. 9.
What that person was saying, clearly, like, again, we're all fans of these teams and we're all going to go to bat for our teams, obviously.
For sure.
But I'm just trying to be realistic. I think a guy they got to look out for is Culp. That tight end, I said at the beginning of the year in preseason, I said, I like this kid. I like to give him the start over K. Dotton. I want to give him a chance. This is when I really wasn't a fan of Cade. I like Cade a lot. Even I would give Culp the start over Durham. If you're having a 2 tight end set, you got to put Culp in there. That kid gets open. And I think he's going to
Okay.
come up big in this game because still they don't have respect for him yet because, it's been, 2-3 games he's been playing. I think he's a guy to look out for in this game. And I think another guy to look out for that they're going to use a lot is Rashad White. He
Louis,
didn't play much.
Yeah, go ahead.
He didn't play much. I think we're not going to see – obviously, we're going to see Bucky. They're expecting Bucky, but I think what they're really going to get is a punch in the mouth from Rashad and Sean Tucker in this game.
100%, but that was my point. So that's why I said overall, this Bucs team is still better. They don't have enough pieces yet because when I broke down player for player, I said, is your buddy Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans? They had to say no. I said, good. Is Jaden Daniels Baker? Well, I'm like, he's not. This is
not yet.
Baker is an experienced playoff person. I don't give a shit what Jaden did in college on the big screen. That's fucking college. That's not the NFL. Over. This is the best of the best. And he's not playing home. But the most important thing, guys, do you realize this is what people forget. The Commanders were criticized during the regular season that they couldn't beat playoff caliber teams. All those teams that I mentioned, they lost to. They lost because they couldn't finish. Jaden, and again, the key to beating the key is if you make Jaden run too much and he doesn't read through his progressions. First things first, Slick has said this so many times, Louis, most run-first quarterbacks, that is going to be their instinct. I got to make a play happen. And if I'm the Bucs, here's where I said this, Slick, I'm standing on this again. You remember I said this? What player that I said is going to come out of nowhere and make noise as a pass rusher?
Say that again, sorry.
And I said this early, Louis. I said this, Slick. What rookie did I say that was going to come out and make some noise on defense in the playoffs for the Bucs because he had to get a seat under him?
Braswell.
There it is. Braswell is going to be another secret thing, Louis. And here's why. He's young and explosive.
He's quick. He's quick. He can compete with Jaden.
And that's the thing that if we get that edge, it's over for Jaden because he's going to want to take off. He's going to want to try to extend. And that's what I'm saying. Put a linebacker on him. And the dude said this, assign either a linebacker or I assign Tyke. Your main objective is look at Jaden Daniels for the run. Even if it looks like a run play, your assignment is to watch that motherfucker.
I got one better for you. Overload blitzes, so he has to peel out one way. Don't give him the two-way hit. Because the issue you find, a lot of people get back, they fall back, and they go, the middle's wide open because that's where most of the space is, right?
Yes.
The outside bits aren't so much. So they always go for the A's and B's. So if you do an overload rush to one side, you can push him to the boundary. And I do this on the boundary from the field side to the boundary side. So he has less Sammy sideline to help him out. And then I'd have a guy who's in the flats or a corner that's probably playing a little bit of press so he can play heavy. This is where the press comes in. I'm going to play heavy press. It doesn't matter if you get beat because you're not even worried about the wide receiver. You're handing him off. You just got to make sure that he has an inside. If his release is in, send him on the inside so it's easier for your safety to go pick him up. Now you can come down and play that boy.
Coach Skills, look, you the defensive man. Offensively, let me talk what I need on the offense, Louis. And Louis, I'm with Louis on this because, guys, if you haven't noticed, if you haven't checked it out, Louis said from the fucking beginning, this offense is going to take us to the promised land if we do get there. Now, on the offense, like you said, Louis, Rashad and Sean Tucker, oh, yeah. First things first, I'm running the ball down their fucking throat. Guys, they are 29th for a reason. Even when Allen was in, they weren't good. And and mind you, we know this. You've seen this, Louis. The run offense on our side has gotten stronger. Mock is a fucking animal. Enough said. At this point,
I wanted the Buccaneers to pick Cody Mock just because they had they needed him. He was a mauler, just like Ryan Jensen. I keep saying this. It's a shame we didn't get to see those two guys play on the same line. It really is. It's a shame because them two together, I think they would have been awesome. But I wanted Cody Mock. I called in WDAE. I was like, yo, Jason Light needs to get Cody Mock if he's available in the second round. And then sure as shit, I'm out to eat at this little Mexican restaurant called Fiestas out here. That's amazing. and I'm having a watermelon, freshly squeezed, fucking grande watermelon margarita, and my fucking notification went off. Cody Mock drafted by the Bucs. I was like, oh shit, mad loud in the restaurant. Everybody just looks at me. I said, I didn't even know. I was just like, I got it fucking right. And I would show my girlfriend the phone. I said, I told you they're getting Cody Mock. It was like
Good
the first
shit.
time I was right on a fucking draft in like years. And
But-
it blew my mind. And I was
No,
pumped.
that's the point. I'm glad you're mentioning that because Slick, I asked Commander fans, you act like that the JD is gonna stay on the field all fucking day. What are you gonna do about the Bucs if we run the rock and we keep your guy on the sideline? We have more people. You just said it. They don't know who Culp is. They don't know who the fuck that's gonna be.
I think another guy too that's gonna show up, surprisingly, because I was kind of digging into his stats.
Yes.
Because I'm already primed for the offseason. I'm not like mentally checked out, but it's the playoffs. You know, we could be one and done. That is a possibility. But I'm just trying to prepare for the offseason to get good content out there here on Bucs Report. I expect a guy like Joe Tryon-Shoyinka to have a really good game. I expect to stack. The last couple of games, man, he's not really getting to the quarterback, but secretly he's kind of getting better. Yeah, like he's blocked the punt. He's got some QB hurries. He's getting back there. When he's in there, he's utilizing his snaps. And if you go back and you look at these games, I'm telling you, just go back and rewatch that game and just pay attention to Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He's causing a little bit of havoc back there. I mean, he's maybe a little too late, a season too late for my liking. But I mean, if he can show up in a big way in the playoffs, and I'll tell you what, this that front three is very underrated because I think that the defense is not very good. But Logan Hall, I'm very, very impressed and I'm very satisfied with what I'm seeing. He's getting better every year. Vita Vea and fucking Kalijah Kancey. If we could only get an inside linebacker and an outside edge, the way Diaby's coming in, he has had 2 or 3 sacks in the last 2 games.
Yes.
I think it's 2.5, I think. So he's up to 4.5 sacks. So I don't really give a shit about that anymore. I said the offense would get us to the promised land, and now it's time for the defense to deliver because not only that, it's going to get really ugly in Tampa if we don't win. I expect nothing less than an NFC championship game against the Detroit Lions.
I agree. And Slick, I want to piggyback what you said. If you're going to do overload blitz, if that's the case, Bowles, now this is where rotation and depths come in. Now bring in the younger guys, bring in Anthony Nelson, or if you want to start him or whoever the fuck. But now Braswell, for all the young guys that's on the depth, this is your time. Keep it plain and simple.
You got to rotate Braswell and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. You got to rotate those guys. I feel like when you keep them too fresh, especially Braswell, like I don't know, Coach, is he a little undersized for the position, do you think? Or
no, I don't think he's undersized at all. Not for the outside linebacker position. I think he'll be fine there. I think it's just a case of he's a rookie. Some rookies explode, some rookies don't. Especially second rounders. A lot of people. Pass rushers are really hard to find, especially great ones. Second rounders don't always go off until their second year.
Yep, and mind you, he has a whole season under him now, fellas. So now. And then we didn't even talk about with Shaq Barrett on the team. Now he can provide guidance.
He's had his underneath him.
But as a situational guy, you're going up against an inconsistent line in the Commanders, and I do think that Shaq is going to make an impact. I'm calling it right now. Shaq is going to get a strip sack because, as you said, Slick, that overload blitz. Or there's going to be a disguise in the coverage that Jaden doesn't see, and he's going to hold on to the ball too long, and that's where Shaq is going to use his fundamentals because that's another thing. The reason why people think that this Commanders rushing attack is so good is because Jaden takes off. I told somebody this. When your quarterback has more rushing yards than your running back, that's not always a good thing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of their running back. I was telling Dino because he's a big Commanders fan. I'm like, I'm not really a fan of your running back. I said something you guys definitely need to address in the offseason when you guys lose to the Bucs this week is that You guys
Yeah.
need to go out and go pair that. You need to get Jaden Daniels a running back because you can't really rely on him to consistently
Yeah.
like scramble like that. He's gonna get killed. He's gonna get
That's
hit, man.
and that's what
RG3 version
100.
2.
That's what. But again, according to the Commanders, he's just gonna run all over y'all. I'm like, dog. If
He's
he
not Lamar
runs,
Jackson though. Lamar
if
Jackson's a little bit bigger and thicker than him. I mean,
exactly, and if he runs too much, he's going to get fucked up. And here's another thing they keep forgetting: what if Antoine comes back what they said he will? Now, Slick, as you said, you can load that guy in the box. They can neutralize Terry McLaurin because outside of Terry, they don't have now Zach Ertz, but Levante will handle that. Again,
I feel like they can neutralize Terry because there was a game where it really mattered and he only caught 5 yards.
yeah, and when he doesn't get his way, he throws a fit. And that's another issue that these guys don't understand. Most of the guys on the Commanders, Louis and Slick, they are young. They haven't been there. The pressure's gonna be on. We got guys like Levante, Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield.
Guys that were in the Super Bowl, they're still here. That core nucleus is still here.
Tristan Wirfs is here, and the other guys, they're gonna teach them to be young and hungry. Now, I want to talk about that Lattimore shit. First things first, Louis and Slick. Do you guess how is it over 50 or under 50 that Marshawn guarded Mike Evans by himself?
I'd say it's over.
It's under. It's 48%. 52% of the time in his career, when people thought Marshawn had owned him, no, he had help for a reason.
I wouldn't say he owned him. I would say the problem with that I was about to say the problem with that relationship, because I was talking to somebody today with the problems they're having. Sorry, a lot going on, man. The problem with the matchup between Mike and Marshawn, I'm not going to completely shit on Marshawn. He's had some good games against Marshawn, and he's also had some bad games. And those really bad games was early on in his career when he let Lattimore get in his head. For some reason, Lattimore just got in his fucking head. And there was times where, you seen Mike kind of act out of character. There's got to be something there to react like that. So, like, they said it's mutual respect. I don't think so.
The league let him get away with a lot of bullshit because here's the thing. The shit that I see that they let Lattimore get away with, Carlton Davis, in a way, plays like Lattimore. He's physical, but they didn't give Carlton Davis the luxury. So, in a way, Evans is sitting back like, if I really want to, I can throw this little motherfucker off of me because Lattimore's 5'10". Evans is 6'5". We've seen what he's done to guys like Newman back in the day. When Evans used his strength,
blew his ass up.
Arm, exactly. Yeah. It's pass interference. Louis, that would frustrate you too if you can see that the refs are not calling shit and they're trying to make this. And then another thing, Marshawn has a bitch mouth. He runs his mouth too fucking much. If you go back and look at all the incidents, look what side of the team he's on. Lattimore never takes his ass back, and Slick is a coach, and you've played it too, Louis. You know when the fucking play's over, get back to your team's huddle. Going to the other side, that's a suicide, basically. Marshawn used to run his mouth all the time. When people got mad at Winston, I said, you don't understand. Go read Winston's lips. He told him, get the fuck out of here, and Marshawn kept bothering him. So that's why.
Well, I will say this. I wouldn't want somebody to stick their fingers inside my helmet. And I think because it's literally Bucs Saints, two teams that hate each other. And I feel like any little thing, it's like putting explosive chemicals together. Like it's literally like it's you're asking for it. And that game, I'm not gonna lie, we were getting blown the fuck out.
Oh, absolutely.
They got blown the fuck out. Why Jameis decided, I get why Jameis was doing what he was doing. But to do that, to fucking poke him, I mean, I don't blame Mike for doing what he doing. For doing what he did, I don't, because I would have reacted the same way. But that's another case of us having an immature quarterback and causing an issue, because didn't Mike get suspended for that? I think it was a couple of games.
He did. But again, Louis,
I don't miss Jameis. As you can see, I don't miss Jameis.
But I'll say this as a coach, and you could say this, Slick. If I was a player, right, and mind you, we are up. and you see me Slick running to the other side after each play, talking shit, and I'm starting things, and mind you, he was also cussing at the coach too. People forget he was also cussing at Jason Light. That's why Jameis and them he got into it. Slick, you would look at me and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? We're winning. Why are you over there acting like an asshole?"
You could galvanize the team. I mean, you look at the Bucs in the game against the Saints just recently. Now that big fucking fight, bit of a kerfuffle on the fucking field. It seemed to have galvanized them. It kind of put a bit of them going, right, guys, we're gonna fucking bully this team.
Yeah, but why that game though with Jameis, wasn't he suspended though that game?
No, he was
benched. No, it was the second time he did it. Because you probably do it more than once.
Yeah, he was benched that game because of an injury.
They shoved each other, then it's like, okay, now this guy's got a history of doing it.
Nah, that was the.
Oh no, you're right. He was suspended for that car shit. For that,
the
Uber
groping
shit.
Groping the Uber.
Yeah. Sorry, Winston was. Sorry, I thought you meant Mike Evans for the. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. But that again, like, I don't know.
You do?
It goes.
Yeah, what are you doing, man? It brought too much negativity.
At the end of the day, though, as a coach, I'm gonna always teach discipline and honor. So when the play is over, get your fucking ass back on our side, because like Slick said, you can galvanize a team and give them spark. You want to know a perfect example? Remember when we played them with Brady and Evans and them went into that shit again and they both got kicked out? What did Brady and the Bucs do, Slick? They came back and said, okay, we sick of this shit. We about to whoop y'all ass. And that's what Brady did.
I remember that. I actually made like a little edit video with that. Yeah, I remember that.
Galvanize a team, that's dangerous.
I made a little edit video with 50 cents. I'll whoop your head, boy. And it was like fucking Mike pushing Lattimore. That was classic. And we're gonna get another classic. I think we're gonna get another classic. I mean, if he starts. I don't know if
he's look, I'm with KJ for life here. We got to keep it a buck. Lattimore is not who he used to be. And Slick, he's coming off the ironic thing, a hamstring injury. We've seen what players who are trying to come back from a hammy. So if he tries to get busy and bone up on Evans too much, he might end up taking his own self out of the game.
If it was me, and I don't know this off the top of my head because I've never been a wide receiver, I would look at routes that's going to put the DB in jeopardy where he's having to push his hamstrings harder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at those to see if I can get it to tweak. Get just a little bit of psychological stuff here. I'm looking at him and go, okay, which leg is it? Okay, I'm going to talk to my DBs, guys. When you've got a bit of a tight hamstring, what's the hardest route to defend? Oh, this one. Yeah, we're going to run that a lot. Mm-hmm. May not even throw it to Mike Evans.
But that's
do that shit.
With that's if Lattimore is even on Evans. I don't think he's going to be on Evans that much because
I think he'll want it. I think he want it. I think he'll be turning around Thursday, and I want to be on it.
But if he goes,
I think you got to. I think another guy too we really didn't talk about, and obviously I've given up on him, but he tends to show up in the playoffs. Trey Palmer. Do you think he's going to show up?
I think he will. I think Cohen is going to have a special thing.
I'm out.
I'm out.
I say that, Louis, because he still has that speed. It's going to be this game that they're going to connect with him on one deep pass. I'm not saying he's consistent.
I'm just they're going to disappointed.
They're going to forget it. We're all disappointed.
He's the fourth choice wide receiver at this point, right?
He's on special teams. I mean, I'm just disappointed.
I don't see him doing anything.
Yeah, it just pissed me off. Because,
I think McMillan's going to piss everyone off. That's going to be the guy who is going to, because he's just got better and better and better.
Oh yeah,
got better. It's like wow.
That's why I said
okay, and he scored against them last time, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's why I was saying I was like, this is what Trey Palmer was supposed to be because we've seen that against the Eagles, he set the world on fire. Poor choice of words. Disregard that.
No,
that was a poor choice of words. I didn't mean that.
You didn't mean it like that. I get
no, I didn't. That was.
I think you're right. Though.
Words.
It could be that maybe McMillan just understands the system better, and he's ascending. Because you're right. That's another thing. They forgot. I asked them this. I said this. If you focus everything on Mike Evans, you're playing into our hands because McMillan will go off.
That's what I'm saying. Cup's gonna run free.
Evans got his 1,000 yards. He's happy to be a fucking decoy if it wins.
Yeah, I mean, he did it in the Super Bowl. Remember, he had that one catch. Technically, the dude should have had what 6 catches for 142 yards. They said if they accumulated, if passing interference yards counted as actual receiving yards, I think he would have had
If Mike Evans' pass
142.
interference yards counted on into his actual regular season yards, we wouldn't even fucking be having a conversation who the best wide receiver of all time is.
Oh yeah,
Genuinely, the amount, especially it died off a little bit this year, but the amount of fucking calls he's had, it's like, and you see guys hanging off his body, like, and you're like,
Yep.
"Oh,
They're
fuck,
holding
okay."
dear life.
I don't think he's slowing down too much, though.
No, he's not.
I don't
He's
think
not.
so.
He's
I think we have another 2 years of him at this
I
level
think
of play,
I
and
say
I
2 years.
think, yeah, and I think that I don't think he's gonna ring chase. I just think he wants to retire a Buck.
He will.
And kudos to him, man, because I was wrong on one prediction. Jamie, my co-host from around the NFL, he likes to. I can't stand when he does this. He likes to fucking type in his little computer with this little fucking Louis prediction folder, and he fucking writes down the time, the date, and my predictions, and he fucking writes them all down. And he's like, "Oh, you predicted Mike Evans going to the Chiefs or the Texans." I said, "Listen, it was a good possibility that he was going there. Unfortunately, he didn't go there, so I was glad I was wrong about that prediction." But Mike Evans in this game, I'm not expecting. I'm expecting at least a red zone touchdown. But again, I'm predicting. I think the middle. To what you guys are saying, I think Mike doesn't mind being that decoy. Guys like Culp, guys like McMillan are gonna feast.
I agree.
This is the perfect game for these guys. Once you start getting into going against the Eagles, I'm not worried about the Eagles. If we play them, the only team that makes me nervous is the Packers. For some reason, I just don't think.
But they're fucking beat the fuck up after the.
Yeah, but still, like
Jordan Love
might not be ready yet. They might lose their next game because I believe Christian Watson's fucked as well.
I'm not even worried about like AFC, to be honest with you. I'm more focused on the NFC because if you look at the NFC, I think there's so much more interesting things going on. I mean,
the balance is shifting a little bit now.
Exactly. Let's face facts. I mean, it's the same 3 fucking teams all the time that are battling for that AFC championship game. It's either the Bills, the fucking Ravens, and the Chiefs. That's it. You know, we know what's going to happen there.
The NFC is a fight this year. And again, like you said, Louis, the people thought the AFC was going to be what the NFC is. It's not.
And then you got the Rams too. The Rams, we were talking about this yesterday. The Rams, I mean, when they're on, dude, they're fucking on. Considering what they have to work with, they're on. But there's some games where like they look rough. And going back to what I said about the comment setting the world on fire, again, I did not mean to say that. It was just kind of. It's not that I didn't mean to say that. It was just considering.
It's kind of phrase though, so I would.
I feel bad for what's going on over there with those people, but I guess they're trying to figure out the game situation because they don't know what's happened. I mean, they know what's going on with those fires, but I think that Rams playoff game is going to be affected by that. They were saying
it could be. It could be. So,
have you guys? I know we're going to get off topic here, but have you guys seen any of those videos? Of what's going on?
When you said it, I was like, "What's he talking about?"
No, I've seen it.
It's terrible, dude. It's terrible. It's bad, and it's getting worse.
Prayers to them.
I feel terrible. I feel bad for them.
That's all I can say. All I know is I don't. When it comes to you, motherfucking Commander fans, again, don't let the media glaze you. Because it
glaze you. I like that. Don't let the media glaze you. I like that.
Don't let, because this is what you said this. We've seen
this to the Lions for the first 2 years.
It happened to the Lions. We've seen these teams where get it. The story looks more intriguing, but at the end of the day, we are football people. We are fans of football first. There hasn't been a year in the NFL where a rookie is just going to run in and run the whole fucking thing. Put it this way: the only way the Bucs lose this game is if they beat themselves in the foot, and that's if
penalties.
If we don't penalties, but also like
just early enough.
If we allow Jaden to run free, then yes. Or if we play this pussy ass defense right here, guys, viewer discretion is advised.
That's your favorite coverage, man.
If we play this shit right here, then yes,
we're gonna get cooked.
Then we're going to get cooked. But I honestly think that Bose is like, I got something up my sleeve that these motherfuckers don't know nothing about.
The fucking impersonation he does.
I'm just saying, Bose. I will give Bose this. He will get something where I guarantee you, Jaden is gonna have a what the fuck is that moment. Because here's another thing that people keep forgetting, Louis, like you said about this offense. When people say this isn't the same Commanders that you played, I'm like, this
Ain't
ain't
the same
the
Bucs.
same Bucks that you played.
Ain't the
We
same Bucs
fucked you
either.
up through the air. We can fuck you up both sides. And you know who they're more scared of, Slick, that I find hilarious? Well, Godwin was killing us, and you don't have him. I'm like, you do realize Evans scored 2 tutties on y'all, not 1, but 2.
Also, the offenses had time to gel. Like you got to remember, we had a a couple of rookies in there.
Yeah.
That center's no longer a proper rookie anymore. You know, he's got 17 games under his belt. Yeah,
Oh boy.
Jay McMillan's got 17 games under his belt and has really started to make a name for himself. You know, 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games is pretty impressive.
You mean 7 touchdowns in the
Oh,
last
sorry,
5?
7 touchdowns the last 6 games is massively impressive. So, you know, I think we had a little taste of it from him, and then he kind of like went into the dark, and then he's really stepped it up. He's built that chemistry. That chemistry's still there. It's all ready to go.
It's
The
already
Buccaneers are wearing a new offense, and they were figuring it out. They figured their way out. They figured out what their identity is this year, and they're ready to go. Yes, we are down a player, but hey, there's still rumors that I'm not saying he's coming back for this one, but if the Buccaneers keep going down the line, there's talk that Chris Godwin could be back.
If that
Yeah.
shit happens, I'll do a handstand cartwheel, and
You
I
guys-
It'll be like the Vita Vea situation all over again.
Yeah. You guys want
No.
to do a little bit of pre-draft talk because it's turning into a
I ain't gonna
circus.
do that just yet because I'm gonna roll off in a
I
second.
haven't done any research in the draft at the
Yeah,
moment.
I'll get that in a little bit, but this is my prediction. I say the Bucks win 34-20. Why? Because I think this is what might happen. What I feel is gonna happen, fellas. We're gonna get up early, and if I am Cohen, Slick, you can see this. They and Louis, you said this. They're gonna be so focused on Bucky in the beginning if he's out there. If they load that fucking box, I'm gonna switch a play and go, oh. So you really want to load the box like that and put your safety in? Hey, Otten, do something for me. Run up that fucking seam. I'm about to do a play action. Whoop. Or Devin Cope is in there. Hey, Devin, get on out here and do a shallow crossing route for me. Whoop. Payne Durham, block this motherfucker. Do a block and then roll out. Whoop. Oh, Evans, they want to put 1-on-1 and Marshawn is locked up and we're close. Throw it over your head. But I hope they run the ball, but I think this is what's going to happen. This Bucs offense is going to go back to running like the engine it could. The Saints game, they were so focused on getting Mike Evans the stuff. That's why they were out of sync. Now, like Slick said, that shit's over. So now Evans they're going to go back to being what they were, Louis, like you said, an efficient oil machine in the offense. So defense ain't going to have to do much.
In order to win this game, they have to definitely limit the penalties. They can't stall on these drives. I think the game's going to be a little bit closer, in my opinion. I honestly do think that this game's going to come down to who has the ball last, in my opinion. For some strange reason in my gut, I feel like Jaden Daniels is really going to want to prove something. And I tip my hat off to the Redskins / Commanders / football team, whatever they're going to be called. They did a huge purge of that franchise, and they're going in the right direction with their head coach. And they're tough. Do I think they can beat the Buccaneers? The Buck fan inside of me says no, but I do think that this game is probably going to be who has the last possession game or who makes a mistake in a crucial time, because it's going. I think Jaden Daniels. I think the first drive they're going to come out fast. I think they're going to score quick, and I think Baker's going to be like, okay, no problem, boom. So, in my opinion, the keys to victory for me is the Buccaneers. If they win the coin toss, just kick the ball off to start the game. Make sure you get the ball back at the half. Limit the penalties, and this defense has to get going. You can bend, but don't break. And I think this is probably going to be one of the toughest challenges they get. I hope I'm dead wrong because it's the playoffs. But if we can get past, because this is, I don't like the cliche, the trap game, but this is like a game where we could be one and done. I'm not, and that sounds unpopular, but I'm not going to count out this team. I think we're the better team. I just think that if they can limit the mistakes and they can have a very smooth game and the defense complements the offense, they'll have no problem winning. But if they're, false starts, fucking offsides, passing interference calls, if you start getting into penalties, you can't, you got to take advantage of what the defense is giving you, and they have to win this game in the trenches. I think the Buccaneers just do what you've been doing all year. Pound the rock and find the open target, and Baker's going to have to play a really good game. And let's utilize McMillan. Let's just keep going with that flow because it's working. I don't want to see Bowles change a game plan like, oh, we're going to force feed Mike, because that's what I was afraid of against the Saints. I was afraid of that, like force feeding Mike just to trying to get that record and throwing interceptions and costly mistakes, because that was an ugly game at the first half. Good thing we made some adjustments. So for me, don't make any mistakes, play a clean game, and keep Jaden Daniels off the field as much as you can. That's what they got to do, because he's got something to prove too. So does Baker. I think we're the better team, but I think it's going to be maybe last possession. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. How's that? I want to be wrong. I have that gut feeling. That's all.
What about you, Coach Slick?
I'm going to be a little bit different on this. I think the scoreline will be 24-31 to the Buccaneers' favor. I do think it will go down to the wire. I do think a defensive play will kill the game. I think it will be a crucial defensive play, a pass, an interception. And I think someone like Winfield, if Winfield's back, it'll be someone like that name, wanting to make a name for himself, wanting to prove his point. He'll have that full stop, exclamation mark. I'm that guy.
Mike Edwards, maybe? He comes up big in the playoffs.
I mean, he does come up big in the playoffs, so you can't rule him out. But I do think somebody's going to make a big step and kill off the game for him. It'd be one that they're driving. They get to about back to their 50, maybe the 45. They try a big play, and it just doesn't come off. Buccaneers snag the ball. Game over. Done. I agree with what most of you are saying about the play call, and what they should try and do. I think overload blitz is a smart thing. Try and understand the landscape of what you're playing against. So always look at who you're up against. Look at the matchups around. Look at the field position. Look at where guys are spaced. Because that's one thing not many people look at. If you got a lot of guys like trips, you never blitz off the trip side, blitz on the other side. So he's got to move around to the trips. So then you can cover that shit a little bit easier. Just little things, smarter football, and cushion coverage will not work because your pass rush can't get home. Don't allow in the famous words of Coach Prime or Deion Sanders or Prime Time, nothing cheap, nothing deep.
Yep. It seems like Olsen is agreeing with me too with the score a little bit. I just got them 7 less, but I got the Bucs getting 34. But on that note, fellas, I will be on out with this. Guys, I appreciate you all checking us out on Bucs Report the Aftermath 102.9 Game Brush from South Radio. Please check out Louie and Coach Slick. I got my content on. It's about Bucking Time on my YouTube channel. On this, I'm gonna be out though. You fellas take it easy and go Bucs. And we're gonna kick ass. We're gonna kick ass.
We'll kick some ass.
Commanders, stop getting the glaze.
I'm gonna use that.
Louis, where can we next find you? Tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, you'll be on with us, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be on with you. I think I can get in for about 7:30-ish. So.
All right, yeah, no problem, man. Like I said, we got a good show tomorrow lined up. We're gonna be breaking down this Commanders Buccaneers game a little bit more in depth. So look out for that. Instagram, the Frozen Pirate Podcast, on X, Frozen Pirate Pod, Bleacher Report. That's a fucking funny community. I'm not gonna lie. Some of those comments are hilarious. But yeah, check me out everywhere, man. We're gonna be doing a cool show tomorrow, and moving forward, as I keep saying, with Bucs Report, we have some cool stuff we're gonna be doing around the NFL throughout the offseason to keep all the Buck fans out there informed with everything that's going on around the NFL. That's a funny show. It's an unfiltered show, kind of like it's got like a pub / barbershop style talk to it, unfiltered. Things get out of hand a little bit at the time, but it's all good. And that's all I got. And shout out to you Buck fans. Make sure you go down to the Ray J the same energy we had for Mike, the same energy we need to have all game long.
Don't get
I want to
silent.
see
Doesn't matter
Jaden
what's happening.
Daniels like this, not being able to hear. Because again, stuff like that does make a huge difference. Shout out to AJ. Shout out to you, Coach. Shout out to everybody here on Bucs Report. Fuck the Saints. Let's go Bucs.
Let's go, Bucs. I'll catch you soon, brother.
You too. Later.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. If you want to see me, I'll be joining my guy Louis and his show. So we'll be doing something out there. I'll try and tweet out the link and so you guys can see it and join in, get some comments going. And we'll be breaking it down from a more of a schematical point, offense and defense, not just the players, not just the Jimmy Joes, maybe a little bit of X's and O's. But on that note, guys, it is bedtime for me. I am back at full practice. We have our last week of OTAs this weekend, this Sunday, and then we'll be heading into this. We'll be heading into our preseason stuff. So it's all man coverage this week. Two high man coverage and one high man coverage. So good stuff. Good old fashioned bear front. It'd be fun to just get into it and teach a bit of man, get the fundamentals in, get the footwork in, and get that smell of grass and that whistle going and start screaming at people. And let's see if we can get it right and put ourselves on another run. Without further ado, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!
I don't know what to say, really.